Hi everyone, this is history repeating itself for me, but I decided to make the video which I wished had been there for me when I first had this problem, which I was despairing about. 2007 Honda Accord Tourer, and my offside rear back door, the lock mechanism has failed in the locked position, so the door is locked. You can't open it from the outside, the inside. You can't do it with the central lock-in, you can't do it with the physical latch inside the car, the up and down latch, and the door is shut. Normally when you take a door card off at the inside to get to the mechanism, you open the door to do it, but obviously that's not possible. When this happened to me last time, even the Honda main dealer kind of threw their hands up in the air, having looked at it and said we can't get the door card off with the door shut. Anyway, I'm making this video. This has happened to me twice now. This is the second time, so knowing that I succeeded in the end the first time, I decided to do this for others. So first, to undo the interior door handle mechanism, there's this little cover here that you just need to carefully pull away, and there's two Phillips screws in there which you need to undo. And then you should be able to sort of prise away the housing. It'll unclip itself and gets a little bit looser, but you'll feel it's still pretty tight because the cable, it's still connected to the cable behind. Now I'm showing you this now. This is the metal pin going down into the pivoting arm, which you need to unclip the plastic bit. You can see I've just unclipped it there. And then you need to pull that metal pin out, and that releases the handle. You'll see I lost the little white plastic bit at that point. So this door handle cover needs to come off. Just carefully prise it off, and it just unclips. We'll come back to that top screw just in a second. You need to carefully unclip the electric window switch, which again just prizes out. So just before we disconnect that switch, it's a good point now to wind the window down, because we're going to need it down. And now we can disconnect it. It's that blue connector, and you press the little kind of tab in the center of it, just in the middle there. You press it in to release it. So now we're going to undo that top door handle screw. We don't need to undo the bottom one because that just holds the handle against the door card, and we need that, so we'll just take that top one out, which releases it from the door. Now from outside or wherever, you need to lift the door card off the top of the door. So now looking inside the door from above, you need to release the cable where it's being held. I've just released it and I'm just holding it there. It comes out of a little fitting on the door handle. The one thing I should have done, which I didn't, is really you need to get some pliers and unscrew that plastic lock there. It'll unscrew and make your job a lot easier, and I wish I'd done it, but you can now watch me wrestle with trying to get the door card off over the top of that, Whereas if I just unscrewed it first, it would have been a lot easier, because it does unscrew. But you can just amuse yourself watching me making the job harder than it should have been. Yes, the lock is still knackered. It hasn't fixed itself. Okay, so the top's free. The handle is loose at the top. The door latch handle is disconnected. That's everything that we can do before grabbing the handle in the middle. Now, when I did this last time, I fully expected to ruin the door card. I was going to completely trash it and get a second-hand one afterwards. But as you will see now, this is actually possible to just grab, pull back firmly, and you've just got the door card off with the door locked. It is possible. There it is, pretty much unscathed. It popped off okay. There's the weatherproof membrane, which you're going to have to peel back. Now mine's been off multiple times before, so it's just held on with sort of grey duct tape around the edge now, so it's very easy just to peel off and peel out of the way. And there is your door latch, or rather all you can see of it, the central locking connector. Yes, it's still bust. That's the central locking connector going onto it. It is very tight inside the door. As you'll see in a bit, we're going to have to get down the right hand side of it, the nearest side to us. That's the plug out of the way. Right, it's time to go to the classroom. Here is one I prepared earlier. This is the whole mechanism on the bench. You can see that green plastic thing, which in our view to the left, the door is locked. And when it's moved to the right, it's unlocked. You can see where the door pin goes on the door in the middle there, and is held in place by that plastic bit. And then when you unlock it, the green thing goes off to the right and your pin's still in place, but then when you open it with the door handle, it releases that white plastic bit, so the door pin can slide out and the door can open, which you'll see demonstrated in this shot here. It's opened up, and that's what allows the door to open. Now you're not going to see any of this until you get the latch off the car. You won't see this at all, and this is why we need to really build up our mind's eye of exactly what we're trying to do. So this is how it's actually going to be oriented, fitted into your door. So that green tab has to head upwards to be unlocked. It will be broken down in the down position, but we've got to find a way of getting something into down the side to lift that green tab up, and you won't be able to see any of this when you're doing it. This is what I made to slide down the side of the mechanism. The short end on the right is the slim bit that we're going to slide down the side and then try to turn to get it in underneath that plastic latch, the green thing. This is a picture of what we're trying to achieve on the car. Now what's important to note is is the level plane that the rod is in with the plug. Can you see? That's the position that you need to be pushing it down the side in. Of course, that on its own isn't enough, because you also need to know how far you've got to go in, how deep, to be in the right place. So I've also had to add some masking tape on the rod, so I know exactly when I've gone in to the right position. Now take a long hard look at that picture, because this is the picture you have to build up in your mind's eye of what's actually going on, because you're not going to see any of it. But that masking tape, you can see I've got it aligned with the kind of rib that goes around the socket, sort of marking where the socket is, and that's how far in I've got to take that wire before I turn it kind of clockwise, or sort of the handle end on the left towards me, to make the slim bit inside there move its way in and upwards to try and get into the gap at the just under that green tab, and then to hopefully raise it up as you carry on turning. But as I say, you have to imagine all this when you actually get out to the car. So just for completeness, here's another picture showing what you're trying to achieve in the orientation of the plane of the door. This is how it looks. So this is a picture of me just starting to have a go on the car with my tool. I'm not saying it was easy, it was a bit of messing about, but I just had to be sure I was going in at the right height at the top of the socket and to the right depth with my masking tape mark, and twisting and picturing it inside the door, getting underneath that green latch where it needed to be. And after a bit of messing around, a few minutes, all of a sudden it popped, sounded very promising. And that's something I thought I would never see. So here's one thing that you've hopefully done earlier, but this is me using a little spanner to get that plastic thing off. It's sided at the bottom to accept a spanner to loosen it. So there you can see it looks a lot better now and a lot lower down, and it would have been much easier to get the door card off with that unscrewed. The next thing that you need to do is disconnect the outer door lock from the latch mechanism. You're looking at the lower half of this picture, and you can just see a tiny slither of brown. That's the brown plastic clip which you've got to flick off with your finger to then be able to pull the pin out, a little bit like the interior door handle, similar kind of idea. I'm showing you it off the car here, what you have to do. Now in terms of being able to see what you're doing with this to flick that off in the door, you see the little hole, round hole, just off to the right of the door latch here. It's like that hole's almost been put there. So if you stick your eyeball at the right angle through that hole, you can actually see what you're doing, providing your door is well lit inside. That little hole there helped me a lot to see what I was doing with that, but both for reassembly as well. It's harder on the reassembly to see what's going on. Okay, so these are the actual whole mechanism screws. These will be very, very tight if they've not been off your car before, unlike mine. You will need an impact screwdriver that you use with a hammer to loosen these off. This is one I got for the job. It's got an L and an R on it. L, lefty loosey, to loosen, and there's an R for righty tighty to tighten them. So you need it on L for loosen, and then you set 2 with your hammer and your impact screwdriver. Now, just before you do this, can I suggest you actually put your electric window switch back on and just wind the window up again at this point. I forgot to video that. But you need to wind the window up. makes the next bits easier. So you get all these screws out. As I say, mine have been out numerous times before, so not so much of a problem for me, this one. Also, you see this little 10mm bolt down here. This is a good time to undo that. That's securing the window rail inside the door towards the bottom, but if you take that out it will loosen the bottom section of it, which makes it good for flexing when you're trying to actually manhandle the whole mechanism out of the door. Gives you a little bit more wriggle room, so I recommend you take that screw out. So having done that, you can set to trying to carefully wangle the whole mechanism out of the door. Be a bit careful because of course there is glass in there, and there's a kind of a lumpy bit of the mechanism to get round the corner of the rail, which you need to flex out the way a little bit, but you'll get there. And there's the whole thing. And this is me trying to wangle the new second-hand mechanism into the door. And really, as they used to say in the Haynes manual, from this stage on it's the reversal of what you've just done to dismantle it all, once you've got your new mechanism wanged into the door. Again, a bit fiddly, but you'll get there. I'm not going to show you the whole reassembly. The main purpose of this video was to basically say, if your door is locked shut and stuck, not to give up hope. I believe in the UK anyway, it's an MOT failure if you can't open a door, because it's lack of access on that side of the car to get out, and so you can be faced with an MOT failure if you can't get this door open and sorted out. So that was the main purpose of this video. So all the best with yours. I hope this has helped in some way, and yeah, that's it. Good luck with it.